Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz September 9, 2016 at 9:44 p.m. Birmingham. So right now, Satan has hit a wall. For now, he can't move forward with Clinton. And with this block in place, it means one thing, that he is on hold by God. And the email damage she created has also hit a very minor, very temporary block wall. And in order for Satan to move forward, and to finish his job, the church has to be removed. Until then, he can't finish, but doesn't mean that it stops. And for now, Clinton will continue to do her thing, making sure that everyone in her circle that protects her are holding. But they're not. They're falling. Today, after another release is being held up so that disclosure is being delayed, only minor. If not, you would be getting much more information right now on Fox than you're getting. Either Fox stopped the big three for disclosure, and I'm saying O'Reilly, Megyn Kelly, and Hannity, for some reason has been changed. Today's show, Friday, September 9, 2016, did not disclose the current batch of releases from Assange. And I can tell you this, that many people are super pissed off about that. And something else that you need to know, and I want to explain this because it'll come back to you and you'll understand. Several years ago, if you remember when the movies came out, The Omen, I watched one of them, but I didn't watch any of the others. And anything of that nature I didn't watch. I don't like these things when you look out a window, you see a pig with orange eyes. I don't like stuff like that. So I don't watch it. I really don't, because I know it can be real. And what's out there is not only real, it's evil and it's mean and it's bad and it can hurt. But anyway, you remember the release of the movie, The Omen, and it was Damien, this guy that portrayed the Antichrist that was coming into power in the United States. Remember this, and it just hit me a few minutes ago, and this is why I wrote it down. Behind the closed doors, he had the House. And when I say the House, I don't know who all specifically is included, but I do know the Senate and Congress. So this is what I'm going on by only my thoughts, not what will happen, but what was portrayed in the movie. So he was doing a pep talk to the House. And then he takes a gun and he walks up to one guy, puts it to his head, and kills him in front of everybody on the floor. And then he said, if you remember the movie, when he shot someone in the head, then he asked everybody, did you see anything? No, nobody saw a thing. Now, I'm going to stop just for a second on that, and I'm going to move to another point. Going back to when Saddam Hussein took over Iraq. What did he do on his very first hour that he took power of Iraq? He got the House, all the members of the government, into an auditorium and had his special guard, I can't recall what they call themselves, but a special guard, they covered all the exits. They had a number of them at each exit. Then he stood up on the podium and he started calling names. These are people who spoke out against Iraq since, anyway, when they were calling out, when Saddam Hussein was calling out the names of these people, he told them to stand up, and they did. He said, and as they stood there, his guard would come down and take that man out. And they killed him. He had a number of people killed that night in that manner. And before the killing ended, he had so many people, hundreds in that gym or in that auditorium, hundreds were terrified of Saddam Hussein. They were terrified of that man. People that didn't like him all of a sudden jumped up and swore to God, we'll honor you, we'll honor you. And he jumps on the floor and he bends his head. And it's like he's praying to Saddam Hussein. This is how people like Saddam Hussein, when they get into power, and all of a sudden it's like the hands are tied of the rest of the House. In other words, Washington, everyone who is a member, Congress, Senate, any part of it, all of a sudden their hands are tied. They can't do a thing. What's happening today with Hillary Clinton? How many people are standing up against her and condemning her? How many do you see? I don't see many at all. I see some of the judges raising hell and said, why aren't people doing anything? Well, let me move on to something else. So as you see, everyone gave all their, they swore to Damien, we didn't see nothing, and we'll obey you. So when Satan is pulling your strings, you can literally get by with murder. If you can do that, then why not a few thousand silly little lies, and yet no one's left or lifts a finger to stop it, to point, to do anything. So the change today is only temporary as far as released emails and released damage that's going to further continue to take out Clinton, but she's gone anyway. That's only temporary, guys. So the change today, again, is temporary. Tonight or tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be all over the internet, and all the latest will be all over the internet. But here's something else that's got me, and I remember this well, and I remember just a day or two after Comey said he saw no fault in Clinton, which, there you go. His strings are being pulled. What do they fear for Comey to not do anything or bring charges against her? If you remember, that Martha Stewart told only one lie, and it wasn't quite a lie. It was something that she thought she was telling the truth, but it had already stated that she said it one way, then said it another. Now listen to this. You remember when Loretta Lynch, I believe is her name, was being interviewed by one of the House members, Congress, Senate, whoever it was. They were browbeating the hell out of her. But they were tearing her up. And here's what he said. He said the only way the Attorney General, and he was talking right at her, could say that if they already knew the future outcome 5 days in advance, only then did she say that she would make the recommendations the FBI offered in advance. In other words, she didn't hear the case. She said, I'll go by the recommendations of the FBI 5 days before the interview took place. She lied. In other words, she's got to hear the case in order to make a recommendation. But she made the recommendation before she heard the case. meaning she already knew the outcome. So as far as where she stands right now, I don't know. But there she is. Caught her. She can't tell. She can't say one way or the other because both ways would be a lie. Or one of them's a lie. But she said both of them. And one of them's a lie. Satan, he has to finish his work. But he cannot as long as the church, that's you and I, remain here on earth. Soon we must go. The church has got to leave. And then back again, as I just mentioned about the Attorney General. And then I just heard a little bit ago, Donald Trump made a statement. Number one, he's in Pensacola tonight. I think he's in Pensacola tonight. But when you see the get-togethers or the audiences of Hillary Clinton when she goes out, there's a small room that's not even full. That's it. She's never had a full room. No one outside waiting in lines to get in. But Trump, his auditorium where he was holding that was full. And outside the counters, there were thousands that couldn't get in. Every single place he goes to speak is just like that. He said, ladies and gentlemen, I can only say this is a movement. He said, this country, we're sick and tired. And he said this, of decades of massive government cover-ups, and a few other words he used, who have systematically failed America, will all come to an end on November the 8th, 2016. Donald Trump's telling you the truth right there, and no one can stop him because I believe he comes under the protection of God Almighty. And I can't wait to that day. But the massive destruction this government has called America is going to come to an end. We don't have long, guys. Jody Wolf Expoz.